Om.
Sorry.
Om. Om. Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Brahma Miristripuran Takare. Manusha Shiva Misita. Buddhisha Gurusha Shukra. Shani Rahu Keteva. Sarve Graha Shantikara Bhavantu. Om. Om Hrim Gurave Namaha. Om Hrim Buddhaya Namaha. Om Hrim Shukraya Namaha. Well, greetings and welcome to another episode of Cosmic Kev 100. And I did miss last week. I got caught up with all the holiday stuff. I don't know if I ever was really caught up.
You were on the radio Christmas Eve.
I was on the radio, yes, but I didn't do my weekly reel, and so I just decided to give myself that break. I was going to do another one, but since this week is from New Year's Eve, December 31st of 2025 through the 6th of January,
Epiphany.
Yeah, 2026. So happy Roman calendar New Year, because that's what it is. And the real New Year, I think, is the solstice, winter solstice, because the sun's growing. But I think in astrological terms, people say that, when the sun isn't the equinox and, the vernal equinox is spring. And so, that's considered a new year as well. And then in between the winter solstice and the spring equinox is Chinese New Year. So for those of us who live in kind of like, maybe not tropical, but warmer temperate regions, Chinese New Year is really kind of more like that. New Year feelings, springish feeling, because we have blossoms. Queen Job bless my wife. Go ahead and please make
Happy holidays.
Queen Job blessed is here. Make an appearance. This is Anna. Anna is a lovely person.
Thanks, love.
She has a Rasta cap on. She's got her Norwegian sweater on.
Yeah.
She's trying to take care of my wardrobe malfunctions.
There was gonna roll it up or button it, so I buttoned it.
It was like, okay, and then
it's my wifely duty.
It is not. I didn't tell her to do
I just wanted to.
Okay. So right now we've got this waxing, growing full moon in that right now is in the constellation of Aries going into Taurus. So as I'm doing this, so we could say it's in Taurus in that constellation. The part of Taurus that the moon is in, there's actually a place where there's Aries and Taurus, known as Critica. And can Critica be critical? Absolutely, because Critica is really honest. Critica is ruled by the sun, and the sun is about our sole purpose. And Critica is located in a part of the sky where it's called the Pleiades, and they say the foster mothers of the zodiac live there. So there's this association with, taking orphan children or people that are without parents and helping them grow up in Critica. Now, Critica is about honesty. All the sun-ruled nakshatras are about honesty, whether we're talking about Uttara Bhadrapada or we're talking about, the other sun-ruled, Critica, and then there should be one in the fall. Yes, it's known as Uttara Falguni. So those are the three sun-ruled lunar mansions or nakshatras. And, they tend to have really good light qualities. In Vedic astrology, we say the sun brings about sattvic qualities. That means qualities that are satisfied, qualities that try not to do any harm, that are oriented towards sole purpose. And, this full moon is not going to be in Kritika. By the time the moon's full, it's going to be in Ardra. Ardra is a teardrop. Ardra is moist, and here in Northern California, where this is being recorded, we are expecting a storm this weekend. We're expecting rain from Wednesday night, the 31st, New Year's Eve, through Monday at least. And so, there's just a lot of rainy, stormy weather predicted here for Northern California, and we've already had some flooding, so this should be really interesting. I'll take flood over drought, but it is nature bats last, folks. Okay, so yeah, we do have a full moon also this week, and it'll be in the constellation of Gemini. If the sky clears up, you'll look at it there. And it's in a lunar mansion known as Ardra, which means a teardrop. And this happens at 2 in the morning, 2:03 a.m. Saturday morning. So basically, Friday night is a full moon night. It's a full moon. It's a waxing full moon night. And by the time we get to Saturday, the day of the full moon, for most of us, it's going to be waning. It's going to be on its way out at that point. So Saturday night, although it's a full moon, it's a shrinking full moon. It's a waning full moon. It's not a waxing full moon. The waxing full moon is where, the juice is coming on. And after that, it's just sort of like we're winding down all these pieces that we created since the last new moon on the 19th, which was in the Mula Nakshatra. Now the sun's out of the Mula Nakshatra of Sagittarius. It's another part of Sagittarius known as Purvashada, which really brings about a sense of victory and can deal with battles, and it's also ruled by Apis, the water god, and so we're getting all this moisture. We had our first frost the last couple days here in Chico. We normally have frost in mid-November. No, it waited, and we were going to have frost this morning, but the fog came back, and here we are, more Apis, more water god kind of weather coming on. And, in Western astrology, of course, we've got Sun in Capricorn, and the moon will be in Gemini Wednesday, the day that most people will probably be viewing this. And the full moon, of course, will be the full moons in Western astrology in Cancer. And that happens, of course, in the wee hours of the morning, Saturday morning. So late Friday night, Saturday morning, all that full moon vibes. If you have a restless sleep that night, besides the drinks you had or whatever, that's maybe one of the reasons. So we're going to just take, this whole sign by sign horoscope. Oh boy.
Aries.
Okay.
Did they see it?
All right.
I haven't had a chance to make this.
Okay, she's been wanting to do this for a
No,
while.
Somebody suggested it. They wanted
Okay,
it, so
they
I said
wanted
we'd try.
that. Okay, so greetings, Aries. Welcome to your horoscope. Capricorn time of year, because tropical astrology is based on seasons. So we're talking to Aries people, Aries rising people, Aries moon people, in accordance now with the tropical zodiac, which would be like if you're born between the 21st of March and the 19th of April. Capricorn, like you, is motivated. It is a cardinal sign. And, the cardinal signs are the motivated signs. Now, they're really good at starting things. They're not always that great at finishing things. And some people see them as the leaders of a season, but I actually associate the fixed signs in the middle more with the season. I think of, Aquarius is more dealing with winter because it's cold and it's air and it's very detached. Capricorn, it's Earth, so there's a little more attachment with Earth. We think about money, we think about survival. Capricorn's key phrases I use. And Capricorn rules Aries midheaven. So this is your workplace. This is where you get your career karma is in this time of year. So, and Mars is in Capricorn, which is an exalted Mars. And there's a lot of Capricorn planets. So if you're an Aries person or Aries man or very influenced by Aries, probably a lot of stuff's going on in the workplace. Things are changing. I think I have a friend who lives in Washington. They said they're getting rid of pennies in Washington. I was like shocked. I've heard of that. Getting rid of pennies. I like pennies. Pennies are good. Pennies from heaven, you know. All right. Greetings, Taurus. Welcome to your horoscope. So Taurus, you know, Capricorn's another earth sign, so it rules your ninth house. That's a house of the teacher. That's a house of exotic experiences. That's a house of the father, and it's considered sometimes to be the luckiest house. You got all these planets moving through your ninth house, so there's a lot of good fortune. Everything is like anything that's Jupiter ruled, like the ninth house, it's going to bring about growth. And so you're going to go through a lot of growth experiences here. And you might be luckier than usual. I mean, you might play the lottery and win. I don't know. I'm not like encouraging people to do that. I think the greatest quality of the ninth house is people being philanthropic, helping other people. And I think that, you know, like Paul and Linda McCartney were both ninth house Lagnishes, from what I remember or recall. And they donated a lot of things to charitable causes. They helped a lot of people. You know, Paul's still around. I think he's still helping people. All right. Greetings, Gemini. Welcome to your horoscope. So, I mean, Gemini, you're like born in a time of year where the sun is out long if you're in the northern hemisphere and it's growing. And Capricorn time is, yeah, the sun's just beginning to grow, but it's depressing. It's dark and it's cold. And it deals with, you know, I mean, if you like to cross-country ski, snowboard skiing, winter sports in general, it's a great time of year. It's probably the best, sometimes the best time of year for those type of things. And so, but it's also the eighth house. And like, we don't have a lot of control over what happens in the eighth house. Eighth house is where we release stuff and where we let go of things. And, you know, but there could be some manifesting for Geminis with this full moon in Cancer, you know, because that's your second house. Or it may bring up issues with the family or things you say or things you wish you didn't say. And I think for you, though, it's mostly like just taking care of yourself, chilling, trying to stay out of the limelight and let other people have their power, relax, be more of a team player, and go with that for now. Greetings, Cancer, and welcome to your horoscope. Here we go. Here's the Cancer thing's coming up now. So this full moon's all about you, and Capricorn is your seventh house, so it's like your partnership sign. So we've got Venus in Capricorn, Mars in Capricorn, Mercury in Capricorn. We've got all these Sun in Capricorn, all these planets, and you know, so there's all this activity in your relationships. And the seventh house also is 10 houses away from the 10th house. It affects career because a lot of partnerships and contracts involve career. And in Western astrology, they're like, oh, la-di-da, it's all peaceful and, you know, good, the seventh house. And in Vedic, it can be too, but it also can be open enemies, you know, some I've heard before, the seventh house. I don't know if that might even be, you know, Western as well as Vedic. So, you know, it's about negotiation and peacekeeping in general. And, you know, making an effort. I mean, I think the good part is that there's Neptune, Saturn, North Node in the ninth house. So if you have a spiritual discipline and you're just aware, you know, I got to do the spiritual work, I think you'll be okay here. Okay, here we go. Time for Leo. Yeah. Greetings, Leo, and welcome to your horoscope. And what I'd say is, you know, Capricorn time represents the sixth house. And the sixth house is all about health issues, and it's also about service to others, helping others. In fact, while the sun is moving through your sixth house between now through the 19th of January, I mean, I'd say Leos work on donations, helping other people, doing some volunteer work, and it'll make for really good karma when the sun's passing through your 12th house in late June through mid July. That would be that's the appropriate response. Otherwise, a lot of times people's immune systems are down. I've talked to some people that have been sick that are normally not sick, and that could be a part of the situation. But generally, if you're doing good, helping others, serving others, and at work, sometimes people at work are a little bit spicy or more irritable to you when there's a transit in the sixth house. I mean, some of you work alone, run your own business. That's not an issue for you at that point. But it's just something to consider. There's a lot of deep changes. It's not an easy time for Leo, in my humble opinion. Full moon, though, I would say lay low, stay home, when that moon gets full on the weekend. All right. Greetings, Virgo. Welcome to your horoscope. So, Virgo world, Capricorn's another earth sign, and it rules the fifth house. So, I mean, probably you're going to do pretty good with this because fifth house is about your children. It's about your creative expression. So I think for Virgos, now is the time. Work on your creative stuff. Your creative stuff is what's going to make you feel good. This is where your heart is. So working on any kind of heart issue you have, I've got all kinds of heart issues, and it's. None of us, this is, in this body that we've incarnated in, this is our first rodeo. Now, whether we were incarnated before or not, I don't want to, make people mad by saying, yeah, probably, or no, it never happens. I don't know. There's a lot to mystery, and I think as soon as you think you know, you don't. But we have to take by faith that this is our life we have, and we're going to do the best we can with it. I mean, as far as relationship issues go, there's a tough stuff. It requires discipline, and people's shadow side show up in relationships. But if you have a spiritual purpose in the relationship, you can work on making it better, and things can improve. And the full moon is super social for Virgo. So I expect Virgos are going to be going out and playing on Friday night. They're going to be having fun on Friday night. They'll be having some fun on Saturday morning. Even if it's raining, it doesn't matter. They're going to do something, probably social, because it's 11th house. And, it could even bring some money and good fortune. Because, the moon and Jupiter are going to be together during this full moon. So this is also a very good, it's a blessed full moon. That's what I want to say. Even though it's Ardra, it's a teardrop. It could be sadness. It could be raining. But, it's a good full moon. Hello, Libra, and welcome to your horoscope. So, Libra, another cardinal sign, Capricorn. And what can we say about this? I guess it's just that it's interesting that Saturn gets exalted in Libra. So that right there shows that there's this association with justice and Saturn, and there's this association with justice and Capricorn. But Capricorn is kind of like this introspective place. And, I think a lot of Libras make a big effort to fit in with other people. And that can actually lead to you being very nice and very well liked. It also could lead to disingenuous behavior where you're not being real. You're putting on a front. And we all know people like this that are just, they're awesome. We love being with them, but you kind of wonder, do they have an internal life? This is a time of year for Libras to cultivate their internal life, pay attention to your parents. If you have parents alive, older people in your household, pay attention to your house, pay attention to fixed assets. That's where all the action is. And the full moon activity will be mostly at the workplace. If you're working Friday, things are likely to go off then, or Saturday, if you're working Saturday, things are likely to go off. Okay, so greetings, Scorpio. Welcome to your horoscope. And so Capricorn rules your third house. So a lot of issues involving communication, writing, siblings, working with the hands. If you're a Scorpio who's an artist in some ways and a creator, Scorpio's key phrase is I create. There's a good chance you're going to be involved in some kind of creative activity. And what a wonderful time of year to kind of go within and work on creative stuff. I've heard some astrologers say that Capricorn and Scorpio together are actually what creates civilization in a lot of ways, because Scorpio can kind of contain intense emotions, intense imagination and ideas, and Capricorn can put structure to all those things and how to work with them as you're going through it. So, I mean, I think for Scorpios, this is a great time for journaling, writing letters, thank you notes to people that gave you gifts, just kind of catching up on the world. And I think the full moon's actually going to be really fun for Scorpio. It's in the ninth house, so you might be an exotic experience, you might be meeting different people, and just be open to that and keep going from there. Just keep going. Greetings, Sagittarius. Welcome to your horoscope. So, we're moving out now of your sun sign, so the pressure's off, and we're in Capricorn period, which is your second house. So this is kind of the nuts and bolts of family. This is how you speak. This is dental work. This is the lower part of your face. This is when you deal with sometimes family issues as well, because it's all about your values. It's not only your pocketbook, so you're known for being generous, and you might have thought, God, I overstepped my bounds during the holiday season. What am I going to do to stabilize myself financially? I could ask Bezos for a loan or something. I don't know. It's like,
Good luck.
I remember Homer Simpson did that. He said, "Help me, Bezos," instead of Jesus. I think he said Bezos in one episode. It was crazy, but I thought, why did he do that? Because they don't.
Oh, they got predicted.
And Holly Weird doesn't like Jesus. For some reason, they're very tolerant of all the other religions, but they don't like Jesus so much. It's Holly Weird.
Well, even Holly's kind of
pagan. But let's look at Jupiter, since we're talking Sagittarius, and that this moon is going to conjoin with Jupiter on Friday night, Saturday morning. And so it is, that's your eighth house. So that's things you don't have in your control. So if you're really willing to just see whatever happens, you go out Friday night and you see what happens, it might be good, but what it's really good for is eighth house transits are good for other people helping you. So if you need some help right now, it's humbling, but ask for help. You'll probably get it. And, and maybe you're going to make a lot of money. I don't know. Well, greetings, Capricorn, and welcome to your horoscope. So, and happy birthday. If you're a Capricorn having a birthday this week, I want to say happy birthday to you. And, I'll say happy birthday to Kelly Cotter. Kelly Cotter of New Earth manages New Earth Chica. It's her birthday, I think, on the 31st. So, there's other people that are having birthdays this week too.
They'll think of it later, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, it's so-and-so's birthday."
Yeah, they'll all show up, because what I find is that the time of year, people who have birthdays that time of year, they suddenly show up in your life. You're seeing them more and more everywhere, because they're sort of like the theme. They're the flavor. They're the flavor of the month.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Well, you would. I would. I know a lot of people born the next week in Capricorn.
Probably hoping maybe Kev will remember my birthday and wish me a happy birthday. Maybe.
Yeah. So wish all your Capricorn friends happy birthday. All right, so, and Capricorn, this is a good time. You are more than the flavor of the month. You got Mercury, Mars, Venus, all in your first house. There's a lot of manifestation going on. The full moon could be very romantic with Jupiter and the sun together. In a way, it would have been better to have a New Year's party on Friday night than than Wednesday night because of the aspects of the planets. That's what I would say. All right, greetings Aquarius, and welcome to your horoscope. So, I mean, for Aquarius, I would say if there's ever a time you should probably just lay low. Pay attention to your spiritual life. Say your prayers, make donations, help other people, help somebody who's shut in and can't get out. That now would be the time for that. And 12th house transits tend to be a time of loss. Now, the moon is going to be full in your 6th house. This could indicate, if you over partied on a New Year's Eve party, this, you may feel physical consequences. And, and so, everybody's got to pay the piper and all those type of things. And, Pluto's in your 1st house. You got a lot of insight. Eventually in the middle of the month, you'll get Venus there, Mars there. But right now, it's just dealing with the karma you've accumulated over this last year and answering to that. You want to pay attention to your spiritual life right now, so you create a clean slate, so when the sun does go into Aquarius, you're like, wow, I want to be the best I can be. I want to do all the good Aquarius things of being philanthropic, helping other people, inventing cool stuff, and making my music or designing my clothes, or being a great electrical engineer, or whatever it is that you do as an Aquarius person. Okay, here we go. Finally, we have Pisces. So, Neptune's been in Pisces, and Neptune's going to leave Pisces at the end of this month. It's going to go back into Aries. So that's, that's going to be interesting. I think what's interesting to me is that we're finding out in some news sources areas where we were deceived by the publics, deceived by the government, deceived by corporations. A lot of truth is coming out about that. And Neptune rules diseases, especially in relationship to what diseases. Remember how we got all scared? Like, oh, we're all going to die, and there's this horrible disease, and everybody should wear a mask and stay home and do all these kind of interesting things, and can't go to church, but you can go to bars, very weird social distancing and all this stuff that was designed essentially to help people, and goody two-shoes are out there ratting on people who weren't doing what they thought was right. And the thing is if you think that this life and this body is all you got, I don't know too many Pisces that really believe that, but there's a few out there. You are in deep trouble. Our soul is eternal, and I don't want to offend anybody who thinks that all of us, this is our first rodeo or in our last rodeo, but I'm not sure. Okay, that's all I'll say is I'm not sure. But in the realm of God and the divine, everything's timeless. And Capricorn time's overall a good time for Pisces because it's your social life, it's beneficial friends, it's people that can actually help you, and you can make a lot of money. This might be one of your luckiest, most fortunate periods. And the full moon should be lovely for you because it's got Jupiter there with the moon in the 5th house. So good news if you have a kid that's been struggling, they might just turn a curb here and start doing way better. And but just be in your heart, show the generosity, show the kindness, show the goodness, because my bets are on you, Pisces. Like this is your time to shine, at least for the next few weeks and or a couple of weeks. And I just want to say, I want to thank everyone, like Nicole, Worldsley, Shant, John and Colleen, people that comment week by week and just say hello to me. I just appreciate you so much. And I'd love to hear your story. If you have an astrological story you want to share with me, message me and or something you'd like me to cover. But until then, thank you very much. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Tat Sat.